Automotive journalist Matis Karat says things are looking up for the car world. That's the general feeling at the 81st Geneva Motor Show, and it's reflected by the number of new models being premiered by manufacturers here. Porsche has unveiled a hybrid version of its popular Panamera, for example, and its parameters are spectacular. It harnesses a hefty 279 kilowatts, but only burns 6.8 liters of super unleaded fuel per 100 kilometers on the road. The German carmaker's marketing director Bernhard Meyer says that the new Panamera can drive up to 75 kilometers an hour on electrical power alone for up to 2 kilometers at a stretch. The car can also sail at up to 165 kilometers an hour, he says. That means when you take your foot off the gas at that speed, it disengages the powertrain completely. If you need to accelerate again, for example to pass, then the car turns back on within a fraction of a second. And it's very comfortable, he remarks. The driver doesn't notice a thing. Mercedes is also launching a new model in Geneva. It's C-Class Coupe. Up front, the newcomer resembles the other members of the class, but also makes a few individual statements. The rear leaves a sporty impression, and in spite of its dynamic look, the C-Class Coupe is a full-fledged four-seater. And Mercedes is also giving visitors to the show their first glimpse of the latest generation SLK. In terms of styling, it now leans more heavily on the look of the SLS AMG. And for the first time, the Roadster can also be had with a diesel motor. Not to be outdone, Volkswagen has also brought the long-awaited Golf convertible to Geneva. Matis remarks that it's the first Golf to have a roll bar, and the soft top can be opened electrically in 9 seconds. Other than that, VW is sticking to its conservative approach to model development and looks. The new Tiguan is also on display at the motor show, but alterations have largely been confined to a few cosmetic changes to the nose and rear. Another eye-catcher at the Volkswagen stand is its new concept van. With a cutting-edge retro look, the minibus is powered by an electric motor with a range of around 300 kilometers. Chevrolet has also added a fastback to its Cruze lineup for the European market, and a notchback variant of the new Aveo is also getting its share of attention. But a real eye-catcher is, of course, the Camaro, especially the convertible model. Rai Huzatovic says the Chevrolet is an American brand with Swiss roots, and since the first major fair of the year in Europe is here in Switzerland, they thought they would take the opportunity to celebrate it with a wide range of products. The Aveo and Cruze are 2 new cars that Chevrolet hopes will also make a splash on the German market, he says. In general, the company wants to help drive its growth strategy with gains in Germany's compact segment, especially with the Cruze, and the hatchback is certain to gain customer approval there. With the XK-RS, Jaguar is presenting one of the most powerful vehicles the manufacturer has ever made. The 405 kilowatt engine can catapult the model from a standstill to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.4 seconds. It has a top speed of around 300 kilometers an hour. Jaguar spokesman Karl-Peter Forster says the carmaker wants to show its full range of models here and reveals the Jaguar XF will soon be available with a 4-cylinder diesel with emissions of well under 150 grams of CO2 per kilometer. They're here to show everything Jaguar can do. And Smart arrived with its unconventional city car concept, the 4-speed. Matis says the windshield looks more like one for a motorcycle, and there's no roof. Instead, there are drainage holes in the floorboards for when it rains, and a powerful electric motor in the trunk. The concept car is meant to provide a look at the future Smart and what it's planning for electromobility, he says. Just a few meters away, Land Rover is showing the prototype of its diesel plug-in hybrid. The 3-liter diesel Range E is based on the Range Rover Sport. In electric-only mode, you can only drive at 32 kilometers, but total range increases to more than 1,000 kilometers in hybrid mode. Finally, Mattes turns from the future back to the past, to the year 1900 to be exact, and the car that inspired this replica. The loaner Porsche Sempervivus was the first hybrid ever made. That's all for now from this year's Geneva Motor Show. This is the new Land Rover Freelander SD4. The British manufacturer's smallest SUV has been in the carmaker's lineup since 1997. It wrote history back then by ushering in the age of the compact SUV. The model was a gamble 14 years ago. Until then, Land Rover was only known for its large all-terrain vehicles. Peter Modelhart says the Freelander is one of Land Rover's most international models. The company is represented in 160 countries, he remarks. And with its global coverage, the Freelander plays an extremely important role for the firm. It can be found in China, the U.S., and in emerging markets like Brazil. It's everywhere. The changes that have been made to the compact SUV's exterior are minor. There are just one or two touches up front, like more angular fog lights. And in back, the changes also mostly involve the lights. The interior is typical of the breed, robust and straightforward. But there are plenty of comfort upgrades for those who want them. Buyers can choose from among 4 different packages of extras. Land Rover is also offering a new diesel motor with dual power settings. We tested the more muscular 140 kilowatt version. It accelerates the SD4 up to 100 kilometers per hour in under 10 seconds. Top speed for the model is around 190 kilometers an hour. It's most fun driving the Freelander in challenging situations. The small SUV is built to handle snowy conditions, like this blocked-off test stretch of road in Austria, but it also has its limits. In spite of the four-wheel drive and great winter tires, the Freelander doesn't always hug the road. If you hit a curve too fast as our test driver, the weight of the car pushes it off the road. The smart permanent four-wheel drive system is called Terrain Response. It's supposed to aid the driver by optimally coordinating all of the safety systems and driving assistance. But of course, the best way to prevent an accident is by driving safely and responsibly. The former rally driver says that in ordinary driving conditions, you should always have a safety cushion. On test stretches like these, you can push a car past its limits, but in everyday traffic, you should always stay on the safe side. It doesn't help anybody if you later say you were in complete control of the car until halfway through the curve, he remarks. Until now, all Land Rover models have been four-wheel drives. The new Freelander is the first vehicle the company is offering with a standard two-wheel driven variant. It's aimed at urban customers who like the car but want a more economical option. Land Rover's Peter Modelhart says he expects the two-wheel drive version to only account for around 15% of total sales, because the brand is an off-roading, all-wheel brand. That's why the two-wheel drive version will play a more minor role in total sales, he says. Front-wheel drive SUVs are popular in Germany, however. They make up around a third of total sales, and the Freelander will provide them with yet another choice. It'll be available in dealerships there for just over 28,000 euros. The Maserati Gran Cabrio Sport is among the automobiles being unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show. The design of the Italian carmaker's new top model is a bit sportier and temperamental. It's powered by a 4.7-liter V8 engine that generates 331 kilowatts of power and maximum torque of 510 Newton meters. The Gran Cabrio Sport rockets from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in a mere 5.2 seconds and achieves a top speed of 285. It's set to hit the market just in time for summer. Volvo has unveiled the V60 diesel plug-in hybrid. It can run exclusively on diesel or be a purely electric vehicle with a range of up to 50 kilometers. In its combined power mode, it burns just 1.9 liters of diesel per 100 kilometers and emits a mere 49 grams of CO2 per kilometer. The Volvo V60 plug-in hybrid is slated to reach dealer showrooms in 2012. The first Audi Quattro rolled off the assembly line 30 years ago. Since then, all-wheel drive has been a key feature of the carmaker's fleet, whether it be sporty coupes like the RS5 or luxury sedans like the recently introduced A7 model. Audi is now even offering all-wheel drive in the A1 Super Mini, even though front-wheel drive is usually considered sufficient for city driving. Dieter Weidemann says that even in the city there are often situations when it's necessary to turn quickly, and it's important to be able to make a sharp turn. And during the harsh winter, the Quattro drive system is a big advantage in the city too, he says. So it's a safety advantage in every situation, including the winter testing conditions in the far north of Canada. The tiny all-wheel drive car performs very well, even at speeds that would send a conventional front-wheel drive model into a ditch. The A1 Quattro prototype copes well, but the option is not offered with every engine type. Dieter says that especially with larger engines, Audi's customers are used to very good traction, which allows them to take advantage of the car's full performance capabilities. And you notice that with this very small, agile car. He says the all-wheel drive system makes for terrific driving. It offers amazing traction on the ice and is simply an exceptional driving experience, like other models with the Quattro system.
Was auch so ist, wie wir das von den anderen Quattro-Antrieben kennen.
The exterior of the A1 Quattro doesn't differ from its front-wheel drive counterpart, but underneath its skin, several changes were necessary to ensure torsional stiffness, especially in the rear axle, since it is also powered. The prototype's 1.4-liter gasoline engine generates 137 kilowatts of power, and the interior corresponds with sport seats and racing optics. The all-wheel drive system is similar to that of the A3 and the Audi TT. Dieter says that the company's smaller models with transverse front engines have a hang-on rear axle, which means there is a coupling on the rear axle differential, and that's very good for the vehicle's weight distribution. The core of the Quattro system is on the rear axle, he says, so the vehicle is well balanced, allowing for very good handling. If you're interested in a compact with all-wheel drive performance, it's rumored that there could be a limited production of 500 units to be called the S1 at the end of this year, each packing more than 150 kilowatts of power, and series production is slated to begin no earlier than 2013. The Austrian town of Melk is situated about 100 kilometers west of the capital Vienna. Some of the world's best young drivers are being put to the test there during a 3-day challenge. A total of 18 talented drivers up to the age of 23 from a variety of racing backgrounds are taking part. They'll be under the tutelage of former Formula One racing star Alex Wurz.
The main targets of the Institute's young driver excellence program is quite clear. We want to help creating the future champions.
In the end, 12 will be chosen, but not just the fastest.
You've got fitness, you've got ability with the media, you've got how to work as a team, and the whole mental, psychological aspect to the sport.
Their training will take place on and off the racetrack.
All the guys here are really experienced and have a lot of background about motorsport.
You know, I expect to just learn a lot, learn about myself, learn the areas I need to improve.
First up, fitness, which includes aerobics, strength, and endurance tests. The driver's teamwork will also be examined. Together, they have to complete a variety of tasks precisely and quickly.
They have to understand the mechanics of a team, because it's a team that puts them in the grid, it's a team that puts them at the front of the grid, it's a team that puts them on the winner's podium.
Another main focus is media training. The drivers have to be able to speak freely and respond to questions precisely and skillfully. But the instructors will also focus on the psyche of the participants.
Well, they have to understand that to be a champion, you have to work very hard.
They're also receiving some driver training at the Wachau Ring racetrack. The race cars are a fleet of BMW M3s. The drivers face enormous challenges, including handling, stability, acceleration, and braking on slippery, wet, and dry surfaces. They have to be both fast and agile.
It's a good challenge for everyone, and I think it will really separate a few drivers that make them stand out above the rest.
The driver's harshest critic, yet at the same time greatest mentor, is Alex Wurz. He knows their strengths and weaknesses, and from experience he understands what it takes to be a good race car driver. He's got an eye for talent.
Good. The winner is him.
It's the day of judgment. Drivers compete head-to-head. Friends quickly turn into rivals. The best advance in a knockout system. And of course, no one wants to lose.
I mean, it's been a great experience for all of us, and I'm sure we've all been able to take something away from this event, and I'm sure we've all really enjoyed it.
You know, to learn off all these people here and be able to benchmark yourself against, you know, the other best drivers from around the world has been fantastic.
18-year-old Stoffel van Doorn clocks the fastest time. The jury selects him along with 11 other drivers to continue at the academy.
Now we go to the next step with the academy, so I'm going to give everything and let's see what I can.
The training of tomorrow's racing champions can now begin.